The Joe Rogan Experience.
Did Willie Pep die in the ring or something?
I don't believe
that
so.
name stands out to me for some reason.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Benny Perrette died in the ring. Benny Perrette was killed by Emil Griffith. Emil Griffith beat him to death in the ring after Benny Perrette teased him for being gay. He kept talking shit about him being gay.
And he beat the shit out of him?
He beat him to death.
Oh, was he gay?
I believe so. I think that was the rumor.
Wow.
He beat him to death.
But that wasn't illegal, right?
Nope. I mean, he wasn't trying to. He was trying to knock him out. But I forget what they call that fight. See if you can find that fight, because that's a rough one to watch the end. Emil Griffith versus
was that the fight that like
Benny Perrette.
changed boxing, where they had to like crack down on like safety rules? And
No.
shit? Oh, okay.
The one that did that was Ray Boom Boom Mancini versus Duck Koo Kim. That was the one where Duck Koo Kim died, and I think that was when they started to go to 12 rounds. I think they went to 12 rounds slightly after that, because they were doing 15 rounds before. And I think Duck Koo Kim died in the 13th or 14th round. I forget which round. But I think they had decided that 12 rounds would be the right one. So this is Emil Griffith versus Benny Perrette. And this is the one where, he was taunting him. And Emil Griffith just fucking beat the shit out of him.
I'm guessing the guy on the right was the gay guy.
The guy on the right is Emil Griffith, yes.
Okay.
That's the gay guy. With the I don't know if he's gay.
But
I don't
that's
know
what
for sure.
that's what he was
But
being
that
teased about.
Yeah, and he was definitely being teased about that, but that was the rumor that he was. But look, dude, he just beats the fucking shit out of him. Look at this. So he's stuck in the ropes, and Emil Griffith's just teeing off on him while he's out. So he's trapped in the ropes, and he collapses, and then he's dead.
He's dead right now.
Yeah, he's dead, man.
Wow.
Yeah, he beat him to death. Watch that again. Watch that combination again, because it's so crazy. Uppercut, and then he backs up, right hand,
Yeah,
right hand.
this right here?
Right hand.
The ref
right
should have
hand,
stopped it right
Right
here.
hand, right hand,
This
right
is
hand,
crazy.
right hand, right hand. Yeah, he's trapped. The only thing keeping him up is the punches. The punches are so hard, they're keeping his body upright as he's leaning up against the ropes.
Because he dead right here. Bang.
Well, he's out right here. Right,
okay.
like right there, you could have stopped it. Right there,
Right
you definitely
there
should have
for
stopped
sure.
it
Right
when
here?
he's turning away, and he's hitting it with bomb after bomb, and he keeps going 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I mean, he's just swinging at him afterwards.
And the ref just sit there like this.
Yeah, there's been some horrific moments like that.
Dude, remember who was the one guy? I can't remember his fucking name, but
Ray Mercer versus Tommy Morrison.
Wait a minute, that's from Rocky, right?
Yeah.
No.
You never saw that one? That might be
No.
the worst one ever.
I'm talking about the guy who he didn't die in the ring, but he had like all this promise.
Oh, Gerald McClellan.
Maybe that's what
That's
I'm talking about.
100% who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was the guy that was a rival for Roy Jones Jr. So as Roy Jones Jr. was a champ and he was a champ, and he fought Nigel Benn, and he almost put Nigel Benn out in the first round. But they collided heads at one point in the fight, and Nigel Benn hit him with some real good punches, and he went down and took a knee, and then he went back to his corner, and he quit. And they couldn't believe that he took a 10 count. And everyone was like, I can't believe he's taking a 10 count. And he went back to his corner, and he was so fucked up that it just slumped over. Yeah, this is him. So he had Nigel Benn in all sorts of trouble, knocked him out of the ring, right? Nigel Benn was one of the toughest motherfuckers to ever box. He got back in the ring and survived. So Nigel Benn knocked out of the ring, and here's him after that. So Gerald McClellan is just emptying the fucking gas tank here, just swinging with everything he had. And Gerald McClellan was a fucking murderous puncher. He knocked everybody out. So he was assuming he was about to knock Nigel Benn out too. But Nigel Benn wasn't going anywhere. And so Gerald McClellan got fucking drained. And then Nigel started catching him. Look at that. Left hook, Nigel catches him. And Gerald tags him again. Right hand, uppercut. But Nigel Benn just kept coming. And look, he catches him with that right hand. Look at that left hook. Imagine being that hurt in the first round, and Nigel Benn just comes storming out later in the fight.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy the resilience. Crazy the endurance. So Gerald McClellan emptied his gas tank, and Nigel's catching him now. He catches him with a big left hook. And at one point in time, they collided heads. And it was a bad one. It was like a bang.
And you think that's what did it?
No. It was all these punches, for sure. But it was like, I think it was a collision of heads as well that someone had identified that was really bad. But he hit him with some fucking bombs. And look, he dropped him again. So Gerald eventually comes back and drops Nigel again in the 8th round. And Nigel gets back up, and he's like, still not going anywhere. Boom, hits him with a left hook. This is after getting dropped again.
Imagine hitting a motherfucker with everything you got.
And look at this combination. Boom, Nigel over the top of that right hand. So what the point is, this was a fucking war. And there's another brilliant one. So we see like where he takes a knee.
Yeah,
Boom, look at that right hand.
This is fucking
Boom,
sad.
another right hand. So that's where it was. That's where he takes a knee.
Yeah, this is sad.
So he decided to stay down. So he gets hit. I guess he got up for the first one, right? Is that what they're saying? Oh, so he goes down a second time. So this is the second time. And then look, you see him like wincing in pain, like holding his head. And that's when he decided to stay down. And so everybody's like, I can't believe he, he quit on his knee like that. But then he went back into his corner and he slumped. And he really never recovered. He went to the hospital and he's alive still, but he's like severely disabled. And I believe he's blind.
And what did it cause, like a brain bleed? Or?
Yeah. I mean, that's the risk that these guys are taking, man. I mean, that's a crazy sport. You're throwing haymakers at each other with like thick padding over the top of it, and that's him today. And this like greatly affected Roy Jones Jr. too, because you got to think that Roy and him almost fought, right? Like that was like a big super fight that people were setting up for the future. And if Roy and him down the line did wind up fighting, that could have been Roy, or that could have been Gerald. Like it could have been either one of them.
Yeah.
Like when two guys are that good and they're swinging the way those guys were at each other.
My money would have still been on Roy though.
Because
Roy in his prime was fucking stupid good.
Dude,
he was ridiculous.
In his prime, no one can touch him. He would win entire rounds without even being hit.
To me, you know what I'll compare Roy to? Is Anderson Silva.
Similar in that way, like they were just so dominant for a while,
and he would win in such stylish fashion. Where it wasn't just that he was winning, but he just made you look silly. He was doing movie shit.
Roy put his hand behind his back and then knocked the guy out with one punch.
Yeah,
put his hand behind his back, ducked, and then popped him with a right hand and knocked him out.
But just like both, it's like eventually it catches up to you, where it's like. It's like you hit an age where like you don't realize, but you just a millisecond slower.
Yeah. There's that. There's also this other speculation. That speculation is that he went up to heavyweight to fight John Ruiz. And so he had to pack on weight. And then he went back down to light heavyweight. And I think the losing the weight to get back down diminished him severely. And then he fought Antonio Tarver. And Antonio Tarver was a murderous puncher and a motherfucker of a boxer. Yeah. Antonio Tarver could box. And he said in the ring to Roy, because they had one fight previously where it went to a decision, and and Roy had some excuses, I guess. And so he says in the ring for the second fight, "You got any excuses tonight, Roy?" The referee goes, "Any questions? Any questions?" And he goes, "You got any excuses tonight, Roy?" And Roy didn't say anything. And Tarver wound up knocking him out.
And then after that, he just kept getting knocked out, right?
He got knocked out bad after that.
What do you think that is when after somebody gets knocked out, it's almost like it's easier to knock him out after that?
Well, he fought Glenn Johnson after that, who is a very talented contender. Who people like, I think Glenn Johnson was a little older at the time, and maybe people overlooked him. He really had great success like later in his career. But Glenn Johnson knocked out Roy in a scary knockout. Pull that one up. Glenn Johnson, Roy Jones Jr. That was a scary one because this was after the Tarver one. But the Tarver one, he was conscious, but he was fucked up. I mean, Tarver cracked him and he went down, but he was out, right? But he was moving around. This one's even scarier because he bangs the back of his head when he goes down. And this was the comeback fight, right? And so Glenn Johnson was like a suitable comeback opponent. But nobody told Glenn Johnson that. Like, Glenn Johnson came to that fight to win. And Glenn Johnson has his high guard. He's like a really difficult style to deal with and super, super tough guy. Just very, very skillful. And, this was Roy coming off of getting KO'd. And whenever a guy comes off of getting KO'd, the odds of him getting KO'd again go up. I don't know. It depends on the person. Some of them it doesn't go up at all. Some of them it only goes up slightly. But some of them it goes up a lot. For whatever reason. It might be the damage they took from the first knockout. It could be a lot of factors. Look at this. Boom. He hits him with that right hand. Look how he goes out. He goes out stiff. He banged his head off the ground. Like, watch that again. Because it is a fucking brutal series of punches he hits him with. Back here it is. So he gets him up against the ropes, sets him up for the right hand, and boom, he's out. One hard right hand to the side of the head, and Roy's out. That was a rough one. But that's nothing like Ray Mercer versus Tommy Morrison.
You think it's like your brain going, we're not taking any chances?
Probably.
Like,
There's probably something to that. But get Ray Mercer versus Tommy Morrison. This one was one of the worst. And this one was one after the movie. So Ray Mercer, people thought about him as like this like gold medalist in the Olympics, murderous puncher. Like he was a guy who was on the up. Like he was coming up. And somehow or another, they set him up with Tommy Morrison, who was a very good boxer and had beaten some good guys, but he was just coming off of this movie. So he was in the Rocky movies, and he's fighting a guy that's just been doing nothing but boxing. Now, Tommy Morrison's a movie star now, and he's a young guy. He's got to be distracted. I mean, he's got to be not focused.
Right.
And he's fighting a guy that he probably would have lost to anyway, because Ray Mercer was a motherfucker. And so Tommy is doing well in the fight for a while, but then Mercer eventually catches him. Because Tommy starts getting tired. And that's one of the things about Tommy Morrison. If you look at Tommy Morrison in the early stages of his fights, he was always better. He would fade. And eventually, Ray Mercer catches him. And he hits him with that right hand. And watch this. Boom. He's in trouble here, right? Boom, 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 boom. Now, this is why it's the worst one ever.
Oh.
Bro, he's tangled up in the ropes, and the referee is too small to pull Mercer off of him. So he hits him with multiple punches while he's out cold. Look at this.
This is over now.
The referee doesn't get in there. Look how he gets in there. The referee's just like, hey, you, stop. Hey, you. He's scared because he's a little old guy. He shouldn't be refereeing this fight. These are two elite heavyweights. These are enormous men. And this poor referee is old, got a little pot belly. He doesn't want to dive in there and get fucking murked.
Yeah, you're
and
right.
so because of that, Tommy Morrison takes haymakers. Look, he's out cold, and Ray Mercer's just full blast, teeing off. And another left hook after that, while the referee was holding onto his arms. Bro.
Damn.
That might be the worst.
Did he survive?
He lived, but he was never the same boxer again.
No way.
He beat some good guys after that. He actually beat George Foreman after that.
Yeah, old George Foreman.
Old George Foreman. He won a decision off of old George Foreman. Look at that left hook. Boom, 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 right hand. I mean, this is horrendous, dude. We're looking at it from a different angle now. Look at this. I mean, come on, man. Boom. And then still, he's fully out cold, and he got hit 4 or 5 times clean. This is like Benny Paret all over again. This easily could have been the end of his life.
Yeah, for
easily
sure.
could have been, and probably changed his brain.
Because right here, I mean, what is this ref waiting on?
I mean, but seriously, dude, like this probably changed his brain forever.
Yeah, I mean, what?
This is crazy beating.
What is it this ref is waiting to see?
I don't know, man. That is a crazy beating.
Because when you see a motherfucker getting hit in the face and they're not trying to stop it, I think the fight's over.
You need a big referee with big men. You need someone who could separate those guys.
You need Herb Dean. That motherfucker,
Herb Dean.
he be diving in like he diving from first base.
Mark Goddard. Mark Goddard's a big guy. You need big John McCarthy was always great at it. He's a big guy.
Yeah,
you want a big guy for big guys.